Madison for the next 4 years. Sadia Rhodes Conway is challenging current Mayor Paul Soglin. Both candidates are advocating for a number of the same issues, like bringing housing and addressing inequity in the community. But they say they would each bring something different to the job. Soglin is the longtime mayor who's been in the role since 2011 after also serving in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, while Rhodes Conway vows to bring a change to Madison.
I am a collaborative leader. I'm prepared to work with the county, with the school board, with the surrounding communities to take on the toughest challenges that Madison is facing.
I've made a difference. We've seen the consequences of that in terms of the improvement. And my opponents, theorized about it and had a chance on the city council, but really didn't produce anything.
Mayor Soglin spent his final day before the election as a guest on the Spanish-language radio station La Movida, while Rhodes Conway campaigned by going door-to-door on the north side.
The only race that will be on every ballot across Wisconsin today will be for the state Supreme Court. Conservative-backed Judge Brian Hagedorn closed out his campaign yesterday with private events in the Green Bay area, while Judge Lisa Neubauer, who's supported by more liberal-leaning groups, spent the day encouraging UW-Milwaukee students to vote. Now, this race is officially nonpartisan, but both candidates have been heavily funded by partisan groups. Both say that will not influence any decisions they make if they are elected to Wisconsin's highest court.
What I have presented to the voters is a person who is strongly committed to being fair, impartial, independent. That's what I've done for 11 years. That's why I have bipartisan support.
I hope that everybody wants 7 members of the Wisconsin Supreme Court who have that judicial philosophy. We're going to look at what the law says and just the law.
Both candidates currently serve together on the State Court of Appeals. Judge Neubauer was appointed by former Democratic Governor Jim Doyle in 2007 after 20 years in private practice. Former Republican Governor Scott Walker appointed Judge Hagedorn to the appeals court in 2015 after he served as Walker's chief legal counsel.
DeForest School District officials are asking voters to approve 2 multi-million-dollar referendums today. The district says it is growing by about 150 students a year. To keep up, it's asking voters to approve a $125 million referendum to build a new intermediate high school and provide major upgrades to the high school. A second referendum would increase revenue limits by $2.5 million a year to expand operating costs. The school board, administrators, and a panel of 50 community members met over the course of a year to come up with the questions.
They decided that their recommendation to the school board was the board needed to consider pursuing a capital referendum to add and remodel and renovate existing spaces so that we can meet capacity needs.
If approved, a homeowner's property taxes would increase by $274 per every $100,000 of property value.
That's not the only school district asking voters to approve a referendum today. In Sun Prairie, voters will be asked to support a $164 million proposal to build a new high school. There's another question asking for $5 million a year for the next 5 years for construction costs and teacher salary raises. Now, if both of those referendums are approved, it would cost the owner of a $250,000 home another $236 a year in property taxes.
Property taxes could also go up in Milton, where the school district wants to cover $60 million worth of improvements at its schools. That increase would be right around $330 a year for a $200,000 home. Milton voters have already rejected 2 referendums over the past 3 years.
And in Middleton, there's a pitch to triple residents' stormwater utility bills to help pay for damage that system sustained in last year's flooding. Now, if that referendum is approved, the cost would go from $15 to $45 annually for the next 5 years. The city estimates flooding did about $5 million worth of damage to the stormwater management facilities alone.
Spanish language ballots will be available at every polling place in Dane County today. The bilingual ballots will be available on the handicap accessible machines. People can select what language they would like to use, similar to how they would at an ATM. The polls open at 7 this morning and close at 8 this evening. We'll, of course, have team coverage all day on News 3 Now and Channel3000.com. And you can count on us for all of the results later tonight on News 3 Now at 10.
Your time right now is 6:06. The Humane Society Helping Animals throughout Rock County says it has outgrown its decades-old building, but more space will cost more money, and that's where we come in. We'll sit down with the executive